Grand Rise. First and foremost, I am NAGA. This segue, before I get into what I want to talk about, is particularly for anyone and everyone, no matter what circumstance you may be in. The battle that you're dealing with is not outside of you. All battles that you're dealing with is apartheid to something attached to you. When you believe you are winning or manipulating, or if you're losing, or you feel failure, loss, betrayal, any one of these negative things that comes up in you that drives your mind into a certain direction, particularly to a negative outcome. These things are not happening outside of you. They're happening inside of you, and it's a magnet that attracts you to these things inside of you. That magnet particularly can be dialed and tuned by your outside frequencies. This is the reason why you're constantly looking outside. You're wondering, and this is spiritual, you're wondering why, right? So the energy is why. So, or you don't give a shit after the why is never satisfied, which washes your brain into the negative polarity, which pulls you into this direction. Now, subsequently, to anybody dealing with any action that you feel that is affecting you, you're not looking at it as energy frequencies that are labeled or carry a certain form of energy that indicative to what's inside of you can affect you, right? Thus, when you start to understand that these feelings are coming through you, and when they are able to affect you, that shows the weakness in your understanding or your polarity, right? So that's how people get controlled. Like if you look at it on a larger scale, you know, you have leaders and you have followers. People do what they want. People do what they can. People who tell you what to do and people who don't listen to what people say. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the dynamic. All these energies, and even more than that, all these energies that exist, they're not yours. They're not your energies, they're not you. It's just what happens to you. It's an experience of life. So even if you're dealing with the worst part of it, it's an experience that your flesh is going through and your physical, spiritual. I said physical, spiritual. The spirituality of you inside your physical casket, which is the body, is watching this physical body go through these things, helping you understand through all these processes that every experience is fleeting. Don't keep beating yourself up behind life. Let it go. Don't hold on to nothing that don't give you something. Let it go. Let it go. You gotta let it go, man. You gotta let it go. I can sit here and talk scientifically about the situation to the highest value and show you how negative and positive polarities clash. Whether it doesn't matter. Like everything has to take, whether it's negative or positive. This is why you stay in the balance of everything. You stay in the middle. You're not at fault. You just got to realize that the train energy, like it's a train. It's like a Mack truck, that shit coming boom. And when it hits you, you act. And then you have to wonder, what is that feeling right when that energy hits you that's making you want to act right then? Like what's pushing your body to act? Say something, grab something, do something. It was an energy. Even if it was words through the air, you still can't point the finger at the person that the words came from. The energy hit them first and traveled through them just to hit you. It's a symbolic to things close to you being used. Understand, man. It's all energy. You understand it's all energy. You put nothing into this shit. You stop being involved. Knock the game off just knock the board off the table. Why keep playing the game? Once you understand that it's jumping and it's going in and out and it's manifesting through each individual, and depending on how strong or weak you is, it plays itself out in your detriment. All right, let's get to it. Segue done. You know what I mean? Just know it ain't your fault. Focus on the inside. Go inside you and find that strength that you got inside you. Push your light outwards and push that energy away. Segue. Let's get into the bill. We 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in, right? Let's go. Every divine pretense that's for you. You are a divine pretense. The secret is the divine can't give you something that can be as tangible as tissue or as accessible as money. This is why it's work to go inside yourself to understand who you truly are. And not for nothing, this is not granted. You're not going to just be able to do it, because why would I want you to grow? Why would I want you to leave this? Without this, it's almost like saying, it is like saying when they told you if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. Now you have to concept reality as far as life. Like if people never, if it wasn't something around to concept what vibrations or energy was, it can never be documented. So how would you say it would be a sound? It wasn't documented. It doesn't exist. But the action took place. How do you know? Was you there to see it? How did somebody tell you? You know what I'm saying? Like the question defeats the purpose. And this is like a paradigm. This is how people get trapped in the mind about false reality. So you study outside yourself. You're going to always be outside yourself. You're going to want to obtain outside yourself, because this is the penance that you was put in. Let me put you at the bottom of this and give you nothing that you are. Like, you know, it's like, think about it. If a fish was in the water and I took him out the water and then I made the fish do a whole bunch of shit, and I was like, if you want water, I'll give you a drop at a time. But I'll dress that water up in some other shit. I dress that water up in a Cadillac. I dress that water up in a big house. Dress that water up in funky ass clothes and fake this and fake that. I dress that water all the way up. And initially, you're going to forget that you even wanted the water. You're going to start trying to look or get the things that the water's dressed up in. And you're going to forget the value of the water. And you're going to say, well, as long as I get those things that the water has, I'll be like water. And then you forget the purpose of even why you have value on certain things. You know, this is why we lost togetherness. This is why we lost family and tribe. This is why we losing culture. It's not like the culture's not here. The essence of what culture was is always going to be here because it's formulation. That's how things got to where they are. But in aspect, the culture is not resonant right now. You know what I'm saying? The culture that we had is not resonant. It's not, you know, pulsating. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool, because it's not like it can't just come back into existence. That's about what you understand. You know what I mean? That's how deep you understand the value. So right now, what we think value is in the opposite direction. It's in reverse. So you cannot be what you are not. That's just losing your fucking mind at the end of the day. So like initially, when what you are comes back into your reality or into your atmosphere, it's going to feel so good. You might lose yourself to it. You know what I mean? Lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. Real rap. So at the end of the day, like, you got to understand everything was given to you. Unlocking you is always the purpose. Not losing you is the biggest purpose. Keeping intact with how you came here is the biggest purpose. Understanding the book of life of yourself is the biggest book you can ever learn. Do not let anybody tell you the story of some a manifested book by a bunch of individuals that want to claim the prowess of something that's false. We're not even going to keep getting into that. When you exist every day, when you go through things every day, when every breath you take, every sight, every follicle, every pore in your body, every little piece of experience your flesh experiences, you are a story in yourself. You are a book in yourself. You are the book of you. That story is deep because only you know what you see and what you go through. It ain't even about everybody reading your shit. It's about you being able to express that in the fully. We giving this back to the divine and perfect living in a perfect situation. Spiritual peace stuck into a physical body. How else would I understand how to be imperfect? Shit is ill. Get these downloads. And you think subsequently it has to do with the egotistical value of satisfying the notion of one's understanding, lack thereof, they knowing their self. No, that is the entity itself. How do I battle something that is, if fire burn me, do I get mad at it? Be like, oh, it's fire. I have to find way. No, it's fucking fire. Stay away from it or put it out. What? If it's burning natural, you can't do nothing with it and you know that shit hot, get the fuck away from it. If it's a stove and it's on too long and you too close to it, pay attention to what you're doing. If you got a fire and the shit burns you and the shit too high, you know what? Consolidate that a little bit. It's not rocket science. We know how to move. But you know what happens? We don't think. We take everything out of context and believe in direction. You want to say, oh, because it's able to move simultaneously in a situation like you, it needs to be considered. No, certain things, that's just what it is. If I understand the capability of a lion, a tiger, and a dog, then I got to understand how to deal with them accordingly. You know what I mean? That's people in general. Some people just act certain ways. They never going to change. It's not for me to worry about what you are. That's the type of animal you are. You're going to always do those things. Simultaneously dealing with the habla double oblongada, the reptilian part of your brain. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get out there. You know, you're like, I gotta make this happen. I gotta get outside myself. That right there is in the opposite pretense of your existence. That is not how we are. We don't go outside ourselves to do anything. But we can though. We can expel our spiritual energy by doing that. You know what I mean? That's a muscle you work, and that means the muscle you should be working, you not. So when you out here and you working, breaking your back, putting them hours in for the moon energy, yeah, you transcended something. You descended in the actual, because you're supposed to be rising that spiritual energy and understand what that means to work it. Why would I go out there and try to force myself to obtain things, everything that's in the universe that's inside of me? It's inside of me. Why do I have to go try to obtain it? It's in me. So I have to go inside myself and understand how to unlock that. That's a job in itself. It's work in itself. I ain't gonna even hold you. Naga.